Hello everyone! With Father's Day coming very soon, I'm going to show you 3 different ways to create a pop-up Father's Day card. You can even use marbled paper, and if you're interested in learning how to do that, you can watch my previous video and find a link for it in the description below. Stick around to the end of the video and I'll tell you how you can get a free downloadable template for one of the cards that we're making in today's video. The first Father's Day pop-up card that we're going to make actually looks like a present with hearts exploding out of it. The first thing you'll need to do is take a white piece of paper, any size, and fold it in half to create our card. I'm going to draw 2 parallel lines. Notice that I'm placing them 3 fingers from the bottom, and then I use my 3 fingers as a guide for the next line that I'm drawing. But really those lines can be anywhere as long as they're parallel. I want you to notice that I also drew them on the fold side, not the open side of my card. And then you may cut. I'm going to fold that box that I just created back in one direction, and then I'm going to flip it and fold it the other direction. When I open my card, I want to pull that corner of my box out and fold it in the opposite direction. Then you will notice I have this 3D box popping out of my card. The next step is I'm going to create a cover and a backing for that box. You want to make sure your corners line up. I'm going to fold my paper in half and I'm going to place that behind my card, and notice now that you can't see through my card. My box now has a green background. When gluing your papers together, you can choose whichever adhesive you have available. If looking for a smooth bond, a glue stick may work better, or you could even use double-sided tape. The liquid glue does bubble the paper sometimes, but can make a more permanent connection than the Elmer's glue stick. Once you get your glue bottle open, then you can do what elementary art teachers like to call edge gluing. And I just glue all the way around all of the edges with a very skinny glue line. Be careful though, do not add glue to the pop-out box. We want that to be able to move freely from the back of the card. Now to create the illusion of the pop-out heart above our box in our card, we're going to take a red piece of paper and I'm going to show you a quick, easy way to cut multiple hearts out. So what I did is I folded my paper 2 times, and I'm going to use the folded side of my paper to start drawing half of a heart. So I'm going to start and draw half of a heart against that fold, and then I'm going to cut. And I want you to notice how many hearts I have when I'm done. There I have 2, all in one cut. And then I'm going to use that one heart to trace so that my other hearts are very close to the same size. And then I'm going to cut again. Notice now that I have 4 hearts total. We're going to connect 2 halves of the heart together, and I'm going to edge glue just on the back of one of my hearts, and then I'm going to connect the other half to it, and I'm going to hold it for a few seconds to make sure that it stays connected. And then notice now I have 3 flaps. I'm going to continue connecting the hearts in this way until all the hearts are connected. Instead of having 4 hearts, I changed my mind and decided to make the number 6. So you'll see that I'm cutting out a few more hearts to add to my accordion 3-dimensional heart. Once we have all the hearts connected into our accordion fold, we're going to use glue and just edge glue around the back of our 2 halves and connect it to the card right at the fold line. When we open our card, then the heart will fan open. Make sure that we don't go too crazy with the glue because we don't want the hearts sticking to each other, the heart halves. And then you can decorate the card. Make it fancy. And if you're interested in learning more about the fancy writing that I'm using, I also have a video that I've created using that fancy script, and you can find that link in the description below. This second card is very similar to the first card, but instead of turning the box that we created into a present, we are cutting out a picture of my son and gluing it to the front of the box, so it appears as if my son is popping out from the back of the card. You can use a piece of colored paper to add a cover and then decorate it with fancy handwriting. The next card is a little more challenging and requires the use of an X-Acto knife. And you can also use the template that I've included in the description below. It's a downloadable PDF, and you can use that as a guide for cutting out this card. You will use the X-Acto knife to cut along every solid black line in the template. Once you have all of the black solid lines cut, then you can move on to the next step. Be careful though, do not cut along any of the dotted lines. Those are for folding. No dotted lines, anyone, do not cut. The next step, after you've cut out all of the solid lines, is to then fold on the dotted lines. I was having difficulty getting my card to shut without folding the card incorrectly, and then I realized, oops, I forgot to separate my D from the outside of the frame, and then it all came together. Make sure that you press really hard on the creases. I like to use my fingernails, and then that way the card will stand and pop out by itself. Remember the paper we marbled in the last video? You could fold it in half and use it as a backing for the inside of your card. Looks beautiful with the marbled paper. You could also use a plain sheet of paper to place back there as well. Either way works, it's up to you. And again, we're going to edge glue to connect those two pieces of the card together. Be careful though, don't glue behind the letters. We want those to be able to pop out and not stick to the colored paper. Just a reminder that if you're interested in making this card, I have a downloadable template, and you will find a link for that in the description below. I hope you make one of these cards, and if you do, please share it with me. You can share it with me on Instagram or Twitter at #artteacher_101. Have fun creating, and I'll see you in the next video.